Welcome to this week's roundup of key business developments in Sri Lanka. I'm Nishani Pigera. Let's first take a look at the headlines. Indian Premier Modi to visit Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka to send delegation to the US to discuss Trump's tariffs. Tourist arrivals continue to soar. In our main story this week, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to visit Sri Lanka on 5th April following his participation in the BIMSTEC summit in Bangkok. The visit aims to finalize agreements discussed during Sri Lankan President Andukumara Dissanayaka's visit to New Delhi in December last year. A significant highlight of Modi's visit will be the inauguration of the Sampur solar power plant in Trincomalee, which is a joint venture between India's National Thermal Power Corporation and Sri Lanka's Ceylon Electricity Board. The power purchase agreement for the plant has been finalized at a rate of 5.97 US cents per kilowatt hour. Originally intended as a coal power plant, the project now has been re-envisioned as a solar facility. Modi's visit underscores the deepening economic and energy cooperation between the two countries. Sri Lanka will send a delegation to the United States next month to discuss reciprocal tariffs scheduled for April 2025, aiming to secure exemptions. Foreign Minister Vijitha Herath emphasized the urgency of talks as tariffs could severely impact Sri Lanka's key exports, particularly garments, which account for over 70% of its $3 billion exports to the US. This initiative supports the Sri Lankan government's broader reforms, including a new national tariff policy and customs act targeting $19 billion in exports. The US reciprocal tariff policy intends to align tariffs with those imposed by other countries on American products, targeting nations with higher duties or restrictive trade practices. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka kept its benchmark interest rate steady at 8% for the second consecutive meeting. This decision aims to support the nation's economic recovery and guide inflation towards a target of 5% by year-end. Inflation is projected to turn positive by mid-2025. Sri Lankan government is set to revise rooftop solar electricity tariffs, introducing a new rate structure based on system size. Currently, all producers earn 27 rupees per unit, but under the proposed changes, smaller systems under 20 kilowatts will receive 19 rupees, mid-size systems 17 rupees, and larger setups between 100 to 500 kilowatts will get 15 rupees per unit. The new rates will apply only to new solar installations. A move aligns with evolving energy policies and market conditions. Sri Lanka recorded a strong rise in foreign remittances, with inflows reaching $1.12 billion in the first 2 months of 2025, a 16.3% increase compared to the same period last year. According to the central bank, February alone saw 548 million USD sent through the banking system. In our weekly tourism update, in the first 23 days of March, Sri Lanka welcomed over 172,000 tourists, pushing the year-to-date arrivals to over 665,000, 16% higher from a year earlier. Daily arrivals averaged 7,492, but was down from the 8,579 in February as the peak season nears an end. India, Russia, and the UK remain top source markets, with India leading at 29,350 visitors. Sri Lanka is set to launch its global tourism campaign in April 2025, aiming to attract 3 million visitors and generate $5 billion in revenue. The integrated campaign includes digital marketing, PR, and a refreshed national brand. The new branding will aim to position Sri Lanka as a modern, resilient, and culturally vibrant destination that offers more than just beaches and heritage sites, highlighting wellness, adventure, cuisine, and community-based tourism. The all-share price index at the Colombo Stock Exchange remained volatile this week. Turnover continued to be subdued, significantly lower than the 8 billion rupees recorded in early 2025. At the Treasury bill auction held on Wednesday, yields on all maturities remained unchanged. Bids amounting to 182 billion rupees were received, of which 73 billion were accepted. The Sri Lankan rupee was steady against the US dollar this week, with the central bank's indicative mid-spot rate ranging around 296 rupees. And with that, we conclude our update for this week. For the latest on economic and business developments in Sri Lanka, do subscribe to our YouTube channel below. We'll be back next week with more insights. Until then, thank you for tuning in. Stay safe.